canvas, and those seams feed on your ears. Wind blows the dust just like buckshot, and I ain't never seen it rain much out here. Smell your own sweat in the evening, wash up at the galvanized tank. Nearest town's 40 miles. The cook here, he don't smile, and all these young horses are rank. But come a tie, yippee-yi-yo, on the back of my caballo, I'll whoop it, I want on when I can. My spells, they don't ring much, I never did sing much, but I'm sure enough buckaroo man. Cold fingers stiff in the morning, by noon it's 103. 5-year-old slicks in the canyon, and never a hint of a breeze. Jug-headed hollow-back ponies provide all with hours of grief. There's snakes in the shade, choya on the grate, and a half a ton of grit between my teeth. But come a tie, yippee-yi-yo, on the back of my caballo, I whoop it, I want on when I can. My spurs, they don't ring much, I never did sing much, but I'm sure enough buckaroo man. But come a tie, yippee-yi-yo, on the back of my caballo, I whoop it, I want on when I can. My spurs, they don't ring much, I never did sing much, but I'm sure enough buckaroo man. I said come a tie, yippee-yi-yo, on the back of my caballo, I'll whoop it, I want on when I can. My spurs, they don't ring much, I never did sing much, but I'm sure enough buckaroo man. Buckaroo man. Old Mike Hernandez was a bueno vaquero, rode some good horses, California style. I watched him for hours and he showed me a little of the old California he knew for a while. Started young horses in Bosali Fiador, onto the Touraine, the old Spanish spade. Brought them along with 2 hands that were gentle, some fine reining horses as ever were made. And he'd spin that pony hanging on to the riata. He hung from hereafter in the Willow Creek barn. And I watched and I wondered, man, how could he do that then? He'd change direction and spin him some more, round and round and round. Had them big spurs that came from Chihuahua, they never had that ever ached hide nor hair. They had a nice jingle, and when he rode by, they made pretty music that danced on the air. Lived in a shack with his wife named Juanita. She cooked on a wood stove, tortillas and beans. After we'd eaten, he said, "Come, I'll show you what the word handle on a good cow horse means." And he'd spin that pony hanging on the riata. He hung from a rafter in the Willow Creek barn. And I watched and I wondered, man, how could it do that? Then he'd change direction and spin him some more, round and round and round. He never did shout, he never did whisper. He had his own lingo that they understood. A touch of a knee or the lift of a rein, his horses all gave him the best that they could. In an old shed out behind his adobe, I helped him to hang up his bridles and gear. That's where I discovered an old tarp that covered 3 trophy saddles won back many years. And he'd spin that pony hanging on to the riata. He hung from a rafter in the Willow Creek barn. And I watched and I wondered, man, how could it do that? Then he'd change direction and spin him some more. And he'd spin that pony hanging on to the riata. He hung from a rafter in the Willow Creek barn. And I watched and I wondered, man, how could it do that? Then he'd change direction and spin him some more, round and round, spinning and round, 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 round and round.
There's a great American hero we all look up to. When the times are hard and chips are down, he knows just what to do. Now a cowboy's got a set of rules that he lives by day to day. And if you ask for his advice, he'll more than likely say, if it's a fence, mend it. If it's a dollar bill, spend it before it burns a hole down in them jeans. If it's a load, truck it. If it's a punch, duck it. If she's a lady, treat her like a queen. That's cowboy logic. Every cowboy's got it. It's in the way he lives his life and the songs he sings. That's cowboy logic. Every cowboy's got it. He's got a simple solution for just about anything. If it's a job, do it. Put your back into it. 'Cause a little bit of dirt's gonna wash off in the rain. If it's a horse, ride it. If it hurts, hide it. Dust yourself off, get back on again. That's cowboy logic. Every cowboy's got it. It's in the way he lives his life and the songs he sings. That's cowboy logic. Every cowboy's got it. He's got a simple solution for just about anything. An old cowboy and a young buckaroo were working, riding fence. The old hand was testing the kid on his skills and his common sense. He said, son, if you've seen three men in a pickup, dressed alike from boots to hat, could you tell which one was the real cowboy, just from where he sat? Well, the kid scratched his head a while, and then he said, well, there just ain't no way to know. The old hand grinned, and then he said, kid, you still got a ways to go. The real cowboy's the one in the middle. He ain't there just by fate, 'cause first, he don't have to drive, and then he don't have to mess with the gate. That's cowboy logic. Every cowboy's got it. It's in the way he lives his life and the songs he sings. That's cowboy logic. Every cowboy's got it. He's got a simple solution for just about anything. He's got a simple solution for just about anything.
Charlie Siringo was just 19 years old in 1875. Hell-bent on pushing his luck with them Longhorns up north on the Chisholm Trail Drive. He told his dear mother he promised to squander no wages on women and wine. But Charlie Siringo should never have made no big promises he couldn't mind. Now Charlie spent 15 long years on the hurricane deck of a Spanish cayuse, till the boss found that barbed wire worked cheaper than Charlie. Yep, and cut old Charlie loose. He drifted to Kansas and tended a store, but 3 years was more than he could stand. So Charlie Siringo rode up to Chicago and became a Pinkerton man. Charlie Siringo, he loved a fandango, and no one can argue with that. He would ride in a minute for the pure glory in it, then fight at the drop of a hat. Like wild Texas gringo, Charlie Siringo, he rounded 'em up mighty fine. And I am a friend of old Charlie Siringo, and Charlie's an old friend of mine. Now Charlie Siringo rode down through Durango in the summer of 1899. Hot on the trail of some bad desperados wanted over the Wyoming line. The hole in the wall gang had blowed up a pay train and gotten away with the dough. Charlie spent months on the trail of the wild bunch, but let old Butch Cassidy go. And Charlie Siringo, he loved a fandango, and no one can argue with that. He would ride in a minute for the pure glory in it, then he'd fight at the drop of a hat. Like wild Texas gringo, Charlie Siringo, he rounded 'em up mighty fine. And I am a friend of old Charlie Siringo, and Charlie's an old friend of mine. Charlie Siringo was 51 years old in the summer 1906. After 22 years as a cowboy detective, he figured he'd just call it quits. Now old Charlie understood he needed a livelihood. He couldn't get by on his looks. So Charlie remembered his Wild West adventures and wrote them all down in his book. Now Charlie Siringo, he loved a fandango, and no one can argue with that. He would ride in a minute for the pure glory in it, then he'd fight at the drop of a hat. That wild Texas gringo